Do I tell the kids? How, and when? My kids, 19F, 17F, 14F, and 11F, Dad has a tentative, not final, diagnosis of a genetic disorder that we have never heard of. Basically, we have all watched him become steadily more disabled over the last few years, to the point where he can barely walk now, and will need a wheelchair in the not-so-distant future. While reading up on this possible diagnosis, I found that it transmits to children 50% of the time. It does not present, generally, until a person is in their 50s. I probably won't say anything until a diagnosis is for certain. But if that happens, how should I tell them, and when in life? I don't want them to become depressed and not live for the future. But I don't want them to have children without knowing this information. I know being disabled isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's not something a teenage girl wants to have to worry about happening to them. I'm so sad and confused on the best course of action. Any advice or especially similar experiences are welcome. I wish my mom had told me her kind of breast cancer was possibly genetic before she passed. I'm now in my mid-20s trying to deal with that and facing a possible double mastectomy/hysterectomy that I wish we could have talked about. Thank you for your perspective. So sorry for the loss of your mom. Are you dealing with a neurological disorder, such as Huntington's disease? Genetic counselors are a great resource to deal with a terminal illness, as well as advising how and when to break the news to your family. Best of luck. Thank you. I might try to find a genetic counselor. That's a great idea. It is not Huntington's, but it is neurological. I'm so sorry your family is going through this. My heart is with you. Truly. Given the children's age differences, I would tell them each individually, when you decide to, the older kids first, and ask for their thoughts on how to explain it to the younger ones. Siblings more often than not are more in touch with what affects their younger ones and what might be too much information. Not saying you don't know how to do that, but definitely seems like something you should tell separately to try and avoid as much confusion and over worry as possible. I was the child. I wish my parents didn't beat around the bush and give false hope. I wish they just told me, your father was diagnosed with Parkinson's. The doctors said it is possible it's been passed to you. We still love you no matter what and are always here for you. No, it can be difficult to digest, but we want to be honest with you. Something along the lines of that would have been nice instead of the "it probably won't affect you, don't worry about it." And whatever crappy, unprepared crap they said. I have a close friend that was having digestive issues, bleeding. She saw a doctor, who asked if they had a history of colon cancer. She was unaware of any, but doc ordered colonoscopy. He was following up with her mom after the appointment, who she told prior that she was having these issues. And mom replies, "Oh yeah, your grandparent and their sibling died of colon cancer. One of them at a young age and had the exact same symptoms." Goes to colonoscopy, sure enough, precancerous polyps, several. Now has to get a scan every 2 years. Thank God she went in when she did. But the fact that it was so prolific in the family, same symptoms, family history can be so important. She was very lucky. It's important for them to know early on if it's genetics so they can process over time and decide whether or not to be tested. Some people would opt for testing so they can know and be prepared and even prevent transmitting to their future children. This does not mean they can't have kids. They may be able to do pre-implantation genetic testing with IVF. On the same side of this, they may choose not to have children so those children won't have to be affected by a disabled parent. As someone with a disabled mother, it took a huge toll on me as a teenager and even now into my 30s. Some people don't want to know, so they are not constantly worrying about it and will live their life freely with the mentality that whatever will be will be. Either option is fine, but it's important they are educated so they can make that decision for themselves of whether to get tested or not. A genetic counselor will be of major benefit for this education and decision making. 25/M, my girlfriend, 28/F, damaged my car while driving high and refuses to pay for it. My girlfriend has absolutely no problem driving while high/drunk. When I say high I mean on weed. I know a lot of people drive while high and think they're fine, and maybe they're right, but I try to tell her not to do it and she always laughs at me and tells me I'm being stupid, etc. Well, about a week ago she was using my car after a long night of drinking and smoking, and she apparently backed into something. She says it was a lamp post in a parking lot, but the damage seems much too wide for that. She didn't even bother to tell me about it until the next day when I discovered it myself. It seems to be drivable, but it looks terrible and I want to get it checked out. One of the backup lights doesn't work, which is illegal to drive that way, I think. I asked her for money to get the car looked at, but she expects me to pay for it myself because it's my car. First of all, she makes much more money than I do and my allowance isn't enough for a situation like this. Second, she's the one that damaged the car. I literally don't have the money to pay for it out of my own pocket. I could tell the insurance someone hit me or something, but I shouldn't have to honestly. She's probably spent twice the repair amount on fancy shoes and stuff like that in the last month. It's a really frustrating situation. What do you think I should do? I've tried talking to her but she won't budge. Next time she gets in the car under the influence, call the cops. If she kills someone in your car and isn't on your insurance, you are fucked. After she's arrested, sue her for damages. Edit, you'll both be fucked. Dump her and file a lawsuit against her. He's selfish, irresponsible, and honestly an utter garbage heap of a human being because she drives under the influence. Take her to court and dump her afterward. She doesn't take responsibility and doesn't care about you, it seems. Loving partners don't damage the other's property and brush it off. Also, driving high or drunk, extremely irresponsible. Imagine if you were in the car or your pet or kid. You claim to be 25 years old but you're not acting like it. So, acting like it is my advice. It's not just this incident, but the totality of what you wrote that screams she should have been your ex long ago. Dump her. Talk to your insurance agents and they or you can go after her, small claims court, etc. When looking for your next partner, raise the bar on what you'll accept, as she's only about herself. She acts like she's a teen, she takes zero responsibility for things, and she's almost 30 years old. He's 25. Wait. So who TF does he get the allowance from that he was talking about? The girlfriend? I thought we were talking about fucking teenagers when he said his allowance. WTF. First of all, you shouldn't have allowed her drive the car if she was high or drunk. That can put towards people's lives at danger. Second of all, she is an egoist bitch. Dump her and make her pay the arrangements to your car. My mom doesn't realize how much she favors my brother, and I think it's hurting everyone. I'm not sure what to do anymore, so I figured I'd ask for some advice. So my brother, M31, is the oldest, and my mom's favorite. He moved out of state a few years ago for his job, but my mom still called him daily and helped him with everything, from digital clothes shopping to making sure he ate his veggies. My brother's also clearly the favorite, and he can't do anything wrong in her eyes. It's always someone else's fault. I, F21, still live at home, and my mom's a lot less nice to me. I do a lot of cleaning in the house, and even though I also work and study, my mom expects me to come the moment she needs me. She doesn't let me go out and expects to know where I am 24/7, wants to know who I'm talking to and what I'm watching. She expects me to get groceries and help her around the house, even when I'm doing full-time coursework. I have to clean up after myself, her and my dad, because whenever there's trash or dishes around the living area, she'll spin it into my fault. Due to big world event, my brother's lost his job and moved back in with us, and it's been getting to me how different she treats us. It's not just that I have to do most of the cleaning while he'll get praised for putting one dish in the washer. It's also little things. My brother's into model building and Lego, and his models are on proud display while anything I make I have to keep to my room. He's covering the dinner table with his stuff and I get the disappointed mom stare and an argument for leaving my laptop in a corner in the room. Whenever he and I argue, I need to calm down and be reasonable even when he raises his voice at me. Even when I'm right or when he's being completely unreasonable, shall choose his sit. My brother's leaning into it more and more, and he's acting like a teenager again. I get that he's her first, but my mom is making it pretty clear who she loves more, even if she doesn't say it. How do I do something about it? Too long didn't read. My mom is letting my brother get away with everything and it makes me feel worthless. Do you have a job and can you move out? I know it may not be possible due to events, but if you can, at least start saving a bit of money here and there. This is not a healthy situation and the only real solution is to leave the environment that is causing you grief. My mother was the same with me and my sister when we were kids. I was the worst kid ever no matter how hard I tried to be good. My sister was the princess who could do no wrong, unless she stepped out of line. God forbid either of us deviate from our assigned roles. Rolling eyes face. Fortunately me and my sister teamed up in our teen years because by some stroke of luck we ended up getting along. Clearly, and unfortunately, your brother is as much of a dick as your parents, since it doesn't sound like he thinks they're treating you badly, and treats you badly himself. I'm very sorry you're in this situation, heart. I'm also very sorry to say, this will never change. My mum nicer to me now that we don't live together, but she still far prefers my sister to a creepy degree honestly. Distance is the only remedy. You deserve to know the freedom of not being belittled constantly, and getting to be yourself. You deserve a life where people care about you and value you. You won't get it there, but if you leave, you'll find people who see you for you, and who genuinely live and enjoy you. Please don't stay with your family. Please PM me if you ever want to talk, though don't feel pressured. I really wish you all the best. You deserve so much more from the people around you, heart. Have you tried talking to your brother about this and others, to see if they also are seeing this? It would maybe be more effective coming from him direct to her. You should try talking to her and maybe writing it all down. If you get nowhere and no one else is seeing this, it's sometimes easier to just move on with your life. I had the same thing with my dad and stepbrother. I eventually moved out and stopped caring. I know I'll never do this to my children due to the experience. I tried talking to him before, but he's pretty comfortable in the situation because it means he doesn't have to do anything. He's talked to my mom about me doing all the work, but unless he offers, my mom doesn't ask him to do anything, and if he helps me out, it turns into a "but she was supposed to do it" type situation. I've been looking into moving out, but with tuition costs I just can't afford it right now, so I'll have to hang on a little longer. You can try discussing the issue with her, but I doubt that it will be of any use from the way you described the situation. I think what you can do is just try to keep to yourself as much as you can. Try to have the least interaction possible with both your mom and brother. If your brother tries to pick up a fight, just give him the silent treatment. It is the most effective way of avoiding conflict. When talking to your mother, just reply with a simple okay or the least words possible so you won't seem rude by ignoring her. I tried discussing it a few times, but shall say I'm dramatic and trying to dodge chores. Issue is, whenever I spend time in my room, shall start complaining I need to be more social. I tried walking away and ignoring brother instead of fight, but my mother came into my room and kept bothering him until I apologized. And my mom will definitely take short answers as back talk. I'm not allowed to be neutral/angry in this house. I have to be happy. Sorry if I'm a bit ranty. BTU, this whole thing is driving me up the walls. My middle brother started keeping a scorecard on the dartboard blackboard for favoritism. It worked.